Welcome back to Prophecy Unfolding, where prophecy is truly unfolding. You know, King Charles just had a speech in COP28 which left me speechless. It's coming out more and more and more. This plan that they have is really starting to take root around the world, and it's moving at such a pace. Now this to me is all part of the agenda. The Bible tells us exactly what's happening today, even though those scriptures were written thousands of years ago. You know, we would call it the signs of Christ's return. They are labelling it climate change or all different names that they come up with before. But what King Charles actually says in this speech really shows us exactly what they think and how they're really starting to push this agenda. What I always ask to do is to watch it full, listen carefully to what he says, and then we will see exactly their plan. But remember to smash the like button to get this out to as many as possible so that people's eyes are open. Have a listen to King Charles here.
Harmony with nature must be maintained. The earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth. Ladies and gentlemen, in your hands is an unmissable opportunity to keep our common hope alive. I can only urge you to meet it with ambition, imagination, and a true sense of the emergency we face, and together with a commitment to the practical action upon which our shared future depends. I pray with all my heart that COP28 will be another critical turning point towards genuine transformational action at a time when already, as scientists have been warning for so long, we are seeing alarming tipping points being reached. We are carrying out a vast, frightening experiment of changing every ecological condition all at once, at a pace that far outstrips nature's ability to cope. As we work towards a zero-carbon future, we must work equally towards being nature positive.
You know, when we listen back to his speech, you know, certain things he said go exactly against scripture and what the Bible tells us. You know, in Genesis it tells us that when God created man, he said, let us make them in our image and in our likeness, and that they would have dominion over the earth, over all the things that crawl on the ground and creatures of the sky. But what they say is totally different. Obviously they call it Mother Earth, and it's almost like it's its own essence, which is totally unscriptural. But what I see with this whole plan, and I've been saying this for years, this whole green agenda or climate change agenda, it is a great plan of the West, and I will call them what they are. The leaders, a lot of them in the West, are very racist. And you know, when I look at what they're doing with this agenda, all they're doing is suppressing what we call the BRIC nations. The likes of Africa and India and a lot of these countries will never be able to have green technology there. They don't have the infrastructure, but they have the resource that creates the green technology, but they'll never be able to use it. And a big push away from the oil industry, which means the power shifts again to the West and lies with the West. This is all part of the agenda. Ultimate control eventually will come out of all this. If everything moves electrical and everything goes wireless, it can all be controlled and manipulated from a headquarter. Nothing new under the sun. People have been doing this for thousands of years, ways to be able to control the masses, and this is one of them. But when I look at all of these major events that are happening around the world, all the signs, in terms of the weather, strange weather phenomena all over the place, to me these are the exact words that Christ spoke, that he said would happen as time draws closer to the end, to the return of Christ. If I leave on an upbeat message, we're very close to the return of Christ. You know, and at times it can be so heavy in terms of pressing forward, pushing through, because we see so much negativity in the world that, you know, sometimes the flesh wants to, you know, rage out, and we have to put it under control. You know, see it from a point of view from scripture and know that God is actually in control of everything that's happening, that we need to do our best to preach the gospel and the message of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Remember, regardless of what goes on in the world, whether they have all their evil plan and agenda, God is always in control, and keep the faith.